welcome to Fancy Couture. In this tutorial, I'm going to show us how I made this beautiful, lovely sleeve. Okay, and one thing I like about this sleeve is because it's simple, it's unique. Okay, look at the twist at the down part of the sleeve. It's so beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to show us step by step the unique way I made this lovely sleeve. Can you see how beautiful the sleeve is? Can you see how lovely it is? Okay, so let's quickly dive into the tutorial. Okay, so the first thing to do is get your basic sleeve. Okay, get your pattern for your basic sleeve. Use it to cut out your main sleeve. Okay, so I'm keeping it aside, and this is my main sleeve. Okay, don't forget to indicate the front and the back. Okay, the front and the back parts of the sleeve, it's very, very important. You don't cut the two sleeves, you don't cut the two parts together. So the next thing is get a long strip of fabric and measure 5 centimeter. Okay, so 5 centimeter is equivalent to 2 inches. So make sure it's 2 inches wide, and the length must be very long because you are cutting it into different pieces. So the first thing to do is fold it from one edge into the middle. Then from the second edge, you also fold the other end into the middle. You can see what I'm doing. Okay, so literally what this means is you fold one end into the middle. That's the edge. You fold it into the middle, then you fold the other end into the middle. Okay, the two edges must be folded into the middle, and when you're done with that, then you fold again. Okay, so look at the one I've done. And in this one, you know what I did? I added hemming gum. Okay, I added hemming gum in the middle just to hold it. Okay, I added hemming gum in the middle just to hold it tight. So I ironed the hemming gum on it, and that will make it more relaxed so that it will be easy for you to sew. So after doing that, all you need to do is to sew it. Okay, so make sure you sew with very tiny stitches, very, very tiny stitches. So you need to set your sewing machine to sew very tiny stitches. So I'm just gonna do that. Make sure you sew it to the extreme end, okay, to the end of the sleeve of the strip of fabric. So after sewing it, so you have something like a rope. Okay, after sewing it, you have something like this, like a rope. So the next thing I'm gonna do, you can see how neatly sewn it is, very tiny stitches. So I'm gonna pick my scissors and I'll start cutting, and make sure you trim out all the excess threads or frills coming out from the fabric. Make sure you trim everything off, and next thing, take your tape rule. You can see my tape rule, then measure out 3 inches. Okay, measure out 3 inches from it. Though you can make yours 3.5 inches, but I used 3 inches in this tutorial. So you take your scissors and you cut it out. So after cutting it out, you use that as a sample to cut others. Okay, so you keep cutting and keep cutting and keep cutting, and this is the reason I told you to make sure you make a very long one, okay, so that you have enough to cut out. So if it is not enough, you need to make a new long strip of fabric and sew. So you need to cut a lot of it, okay? You need to cut a lot, like let me say 20. So if it's not enough, you need to cut more, okay? So you need to cut more, okay? I have more. I've already cut it. So all you need to do is to start picking it one after the other. But before you start sewing it, you need to ensure everything is equal, okay? Make sure they are equal. But if they are not equal, you need to trim some parts out, okay? Just make sure everything is equal. So you pick one, you see, you sew at the top there, okay? So I just need to use my scissors to trim those that are longer, okay? So pick the ones that you think are longer. Make sure they are equal. It has to be equal. So I'm just going to cut it out, okay? So after cutting it out, the next thing is pick one of the strip of fabric and I'm going to place it on the sleeve. Then I'll start sewing it, okay? So I'll just pick one of them. So you can see, just place it neatly on the sleeve like this. You can see the way I'm placing it, okay? So I'm going to sew the upper part, that part I pointed here. I'm gonna sew it, okay, on the sleeve. Make sure you backstitch and you sew. So after sewing it, you pick up the second one and you sew. Place it like ½ inch. The distance between each piece shouldn't be more than ½ inch, okay? ½ inch. The difference shouldn't be more than, the interval shouldn't be more than ½ inch, okay? So after sewing that, I'll pick the next one. Okay, so I'll pick the next one. Okay, then place it. The distance shouldn't be more than ½ inch. Okay, so this is how you keep sewing and sewing it until you are done sewing everything. Okay, so can you see what I'm doing? I'm just trying to show us properly what I'm doing. Okay, so you carefully sew, making sure to leave some inches apart. Okay, so this is everything. Okay, so I'm done sewing everything. So let me show us what I did. Okay, see the back part of it, neatly sewn. Okay, what I actually did after sewing was to, let me show us. So look at these parts. I used the fabric to cover up the rough edges. Okay, at the top, the rough edges at the top, you sew it and cover it up. And for the piece of fabric, see what I did. Okay, so can you see I've already covered the rough edges. I used the sleeve to I extended the sleeve forward to cover the rough edges at the top. So now it's time to sew the down parts. Since the upper part has been covered with my sleeve, so to sew the down part is very easy, and that's where the trick is. Okay, so you pick a piece, you twist it, you flip it to the other side, and you sew. So when you're done with that, you pick another one, you twist it, and you sew. When you're done, you pick another one, you flip it. Okay, so I'll pick another one again and I'll flip it. I want you to see what I'm doing. So you pick one like this, you flip. Okay, you sew on it, then you pick another one again. So it goes on and on like that. Okay, see, I'll pick one, I'll flip it like so. So you can see it's just you pick one, you flip, pick another one, you flip, you pick another one, you flip and sew, pick another one, flip and sew, you pick another one, twist it and sew, and it goes on and on. So you have this, okay? So let me round up, and this is what I have, okay? So after sewing it, you have something like this. So the next thing to do is get another strip of fabric for the sleeve round, okay? So now what I want to do is to cover the rough edges at the down part, that's the sleeve round. So just place it on it like this, and I'll sew. So I'll quickly sew this. So after sewing it with 1/2 inch allowance, remember the 1/2 inch allowance on the sleeve round, so trim off the excess threads of fabric, then you flip it over like this, then use it to I'm notching those parts so that it will rest well, then turn it, use it to cover up the rough edges, okay? So I used it to cover up the rough edges so as to give me a neat finishing. So this is the final outcome of my sleeve. Can you see how beautiful the sleeve is? See the back part of it? Can you see how lovely it is? The upper part has been covered with my sleeve, and the lower part, another strip of fabric I used to cover it, okay? So this is the part you sew to your shoulder, okay? That's the armhole. So for the armhole part, you can gather it, or you pleat the upper part, okay? That's the beauty of this sleeve. It's so beautiful. Can you see how lovely the sleeve is? Very beautiful. So can you see the twist? Very lovely. And the back part of it, neatly done, neatly covered, okay? This is beautiful. One thing I like about this sleeve is that it is unique. So just sew it to the armhole and you are good to go. Isn't this beautiful? I like this sleeve because it is a unique sleeve. It is not common, okay? This is not a common sleeve you find easily on the internet. You can just do your own style, make it unique. That's one thing